Fuck me, man. God, those legs don't look good.
Oh? Hmm? Uh,
Mavis.
Oh, just keep climbing as well. Ah!
Ice is ready.
electricity specifically. Didn't expect the temperature would radically shift so quickly. Should have been paying attention to the time. If only I had a thunder weapon. A better thunder weapon. god. Oh, you know, I could have also just used my electric form. That was an option.
Welcome to Night's Life, a 3-part holiday special.
Oh, nice. Oh, it's not great. This one is not very bad.
Hmm? Huh? Ah! 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 Ah.
Oh my goodness. Purple Arlo, what? That's not a real channel, right?
Metroid?
Oh, so
Metroid?
creepy.
Metroid?
Ah.
Metroid? Metroid?
Tabut. Hmm. Sa. Ah. Ah. Oh. Ah. Ah.
Ah, that guy didn't drop any fucking materials. Motherfucker. Shiitake mushrooms. Always with the Lionels. Woo! Why is there a guardian? Now let's fucking fight. I keep forgetting. Always a moment too late that I notice.
Urbosa's fury is ready.
Good old-fashioned violence.
Urbosa's fury is ready.
The first time I entered this chasm in Tears of the Kingdom, I actually searched for this ball. I didn't know what I was expecting, honestly, since all the Sheikah tech apparently disappeared, teleported out of existence. Maybe they buried themselves back underground. So when this happens again in 10,000 years, people will be there to dig them up again. Hiromo. Two yellow, two greens. I just realized if you're colorblind, this might be problematic. 1, 2, 3, 4 purple, 1 red.
CGB, buddy! Are you ready for the waifu video?
This isn't the waifu video, is it?
You're correct, it is not. I have to keep teasing you and the audience with this every single time, although the audience will the thumbnail, so they'll know it's not the waifu video. But in any case, you are going to love today, because I think this is actually recommended by the viewers. This might be the deck that sells you on playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you could believe that. I know you already like Sky Striker, I think this is more your speed, and you'll see why as we get to it.
I feel like I've heard this before.
I've never said such a thing before. Never. Alright, so, as always, we're going to show you some cards. Your goal is to guess if they ever got banned. Actually, you know what? I'm going to
There needs to be a properly
Only
fun stun
one
deck, man.
card in all the cards I'm going to show you got hit in any capacity. So I'm going to make your objective very simple today. Your goal is to figure out which card they hit in this deck. Sound good?
Yeah, one card.
One card
One
on 15. Sure, this will go well. Anyway, here's your first one.
15. Okay, it's like the golden snitch. If I find the golden snitch, I win.
Correct, exactly.
Is that what
That's
you're
exactly
telling me?
how it works.
Okay. One card. All right. Easy. I'm the one at best of one. Finding one card is right in my wheelhouse. Runic Tib. Spell. Activate one of these effects, but skip your next battle phase after activation. Love it already. This is battle phase. Add one runic card from your deck to your hand. Accept this. Then banish the top card of your opponent's deck. Interesting. Special summon one runic monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. You can only activate one of this per turn. Okay. Is it called runic? Is it the
Runic is the archetype, yes. All the cards are going to have runic in the name. So, and this card can search any of the cards you'll see, except the ones obviously in the extra deck, because they're not the main deck. But Runic Tip can also special summon those monsters. So you have access to anything in the main deck or anything in the extra deck.
Yeah. At the cost of a battle phase.
At the cost of a battle phase. And you know what? Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you a monster that you can pull off of this. So here's your second card.
I bet it, like, removes something. Let's see. No. I bet it finds something else.
Interesting.
That's what it does.
Interesting. Okay. You might be shocked.
Is this Hugin?
Hugin. People pronounce it different ways. I go with Hugin.
0 attack, 0 defense. This is going really well. Because why would we need it?
Why do we need to attack?
We had a
Why do we need to attack?
So this is fusion, and you need 2 runic monsters.
Well,
and
keep in
if
mind,
this
a
card.
runic tip just immediately summons this, so you don't even have to worry about the actual summoning condition for this card.
Oh, yeah, why recost?
Yeah, why recost?
Those.
Yeah.
If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can discard 1 card and add 1 runic field spell from your deck to your hand. You can discard 1 card and add 1 runic field spell from your deck to your hand.
We'll get to the field
If
spell.
Can't wait. I bet it doesn't let anything ever attack. That would be great. If another card you control would be destroyed by card effects, you can banish this card you control instead. Okay, so it's like Magic, we called this a flag bearer back in the day. Like, it dies so something else doesn't. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, return this card to the extra deck. Wait, so you can go get it again?
Uh-huh.
Just summon it again? So it just makes things like different.
Why the hell are you so frail? Or rather,
You search for the thing that does the thing that does the thing
it's
again.
too strong.
Do the thing
Okay,
again
fuck
and
you.
again.
Redundancy. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why people love Yu-Gi-Oh so much, is that there's so much consistency that your deck can be constructed most of the time will give it what it wants to do. And so
Can we pretend I never got hit?
Tony's deck and your deck, so, like, they both do the thing they want to do. Who can, like, play better, essentially. So that's why I still like our...
Alright, I'd like to start a rant before we even get any further, but I have to say, Simo, how long have you played this game?
My whole life. Well, actually, no, I took a hiatus about most of my life.
Nearly your whole life. When is it fun to do the thing again?
There's so much interaction.
So it's never the same because the opponent interacts in a different way?
Kind of, actually.
It feels so wrong. I don't know. It feels like solitaire. There's always the one dude on your plane, the one dude in the waiting room at the DMV, the one dude in the hospital who's playing solitaire, and he's probably 90 years old, and he's probably played 9 million games of solitaire. I know that's a human being that exists, but this seems like how is this still popular?
You have to remember with hand traps, right? If your opponent has different hand traps to like disrupt your plays, like then you have to react accordingly, and different hand traps solve different parts of like combos, right? So you have to figure out how to adapt to those situations. So I think that's why people find it fun. If you rent inside, you keep renting later.
Why is there a rating gun on this card? What is going on? Why are we playing Doom in our game?
It's like a first-person like role-playing type thing. So it's like you're looking at a first-person perspective. They've never done that before.
Dude, I want the music. I want like Doom or Call of Duty music going on. Yeah, here we go. Runic Flashing Fire is a spell. Is a continuous spell? Is that what that means?
This is a quick play. The lightning bolt means it's like
this is a quick play.
Yeah.
Is that a lightning bolt?
It's what they call a lightning bolt. Yeah, sure.
Activate one of these effects, but skip your next battle phase. Good. We're never doing that. Target one special summon monster your opponent controls. Destroy it, then banish the top 2 cards of their deck. Oh, dude, are we a mill deck?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh my god, we're ruining their deck. Oh. Okay.
Not to mention, this is just a build that you're banishing them or exiling them, so it's not even like they're going to the graveyard.
Dude, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players hate this, don't they?
I told you would like this deck. I think I'm selling it.
What consistency now? We're banishing their cards? Okay. Special summon 1 runic monster from your extra deck to the extra monster zone. You can only activate 1 of this per turn.
Now we actually have all the
This second effect
memories.
is always going to be special
DLC
summon a
included.
runic monster from your extra deck on most of these cards. So you
Well,
can just,
actually,
like,
we're still missing
add
one
if you
memory.
want for brevity.
So
I must
here we
say,
have
you are
removal
aggressive.
/ win con.
You
or
may now
just
wield
tutor another
Urbosa's
thing
fury
for
far
free.
more
Because
often.
you're never going to battle. I can't believe this.
You are the pride of Hyrule, hero. Take care of our princess. I'm leaving that honor in your capable hands.
You guys keep finding a way to make free even freer, and it's so stupid.
Okay. Alright. Don't you not say you think any of these cards are the ones that got hit, so I think these are all fine.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell what, like, I think this is already enraging. It's already so many things that I find obnoxious. And at the same time, it's the things that I would want to do to somebody and say, you get what you deserve. With your all-tutor deck. Banishing the right card at the right time is brilliant. Is this a card that got hit? So what is the card? You showed it to me in a video a while ago, and I'm never going to come up with the name. For those who don't know, I just came back from a vacation.
What does it do? I can tell you.
It was like kind of like a fusion creature that just tied the whole deck together. Every time.
Is this Tier Element, or is this a different deck altogether?
This was a different deck.
Okay.
It's a couple videos ago. But the card that got banned out of the whole thing you showed me was the thing that tied it all together. I mean, Hugin is giving me some of that vibe, but it doesn't seem as broken, because I think that one tutored both when it entered and when it died or something, or it brought itself back. It is just some little anime dude, some little anime boy, I think it was a boy, it's just like, big old smile, like, it was like a level 3, anyway, whatever. They know in the comments, leave me the comments.
I was gonna say,
you know
the comments might have to figure this one out.
Somebody's on my level.
Sure,
anyway.
someone will figure it out, they'll tag it. Do you think these are fine?
I mean, Hugin might be the thing that ties things together. Runic Tip is bold. This card, if you had showed it to me like years ago, and by that I mean videos ago, I would have probably said that's animal, and now I'm very much just like, that's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep,
That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah.
So,
Alright, we'll get into it. We'll get into it at the end.
The tip yet.
We'll get out to the end. Alright, here's your next one.
Runic Destruction. I'll just stop reading the word runic even. This is destruction. Activate one of these. Skip the next battle phase. Doesn't sound like I need to read that anymore. Target one spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it, and then banish the top 4. Okay, we got it all, baby. We've
Of
got
course
it all.
it's raining. It's
We do
always
this.
raining.
Big tip, research any runic card. Yep.
Oh my gosh. It's not a field spell, though. So
Now, all
don't
these are
get it
quick
confused.
spells. There's only one field spell, and I think that's
Very important.
Yeah.
That probably means Hugin isn't quite as good as the other.
You'll see when you read the field spell. Because I have a feeling, everyone's in the comments looking at me right now, I have a feeling that he's going to very much love the field spell, but we'll get into it. Okay. So far we have a tutor, we have a monster destruction, and we have a spell trap destruction.
Nice. Banish top 4, by the way.
Yeah, banish top 4. That's not something that's not something to overlook as well, considering we only have 40 card decks, and if you draw 5 per turn, you're 35 already. So something to consider.
That's the happy. Yeah, like mill 4 in Magic is considerable, and that is a 60 card deck. So here's your next one. Let's go. Runic Dispelling. If your opponent adds a card from their deck
I want
to
to
their
try
hand,
something.
except during the
I feel like all the
draw
quick
phase,
notifications
discard
are
one random card from their hand.
what's making the
Banish
blood
the
moons a little
top 2
fucky.
cards of their deck. If they add cards from their deck to their hand, so all this tutoring stuff.
Which, as you know by this point, Yu-Gi-Oh! is very fond of.
But it's not very likely that they add multiple cards to their hand at the same time, because card draw is much less of a thing.
In terms of card draw, yes, but in terms of tutoring stuff, that's obviously very common.
Tutoring stuff is, but this only... If I understand the way that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Stack works, it's very... the chain, you say? Like, this would only hit one of those tutored things. It doesn't sound like it's normal. It sounds like it's normal to tutor multiple times a turn. It doesn't sound normal to tutor 2 or 3 things in one instance, which would cause them to discard multiple random cards. Am I... You know what I mean?
So basically, even if they added multiple in one instance, which there are some cards that can do that, there might be a card that says, you activate it, discard a card, add 2 of these from your deck to your hand, like, depending on the circumstances. But, so then after that resolution, you would activate Runic Dispelling, and then they would have to discard 1 random card from their hand, and then banish the top 2. So it would go on the stack.
I'm using the chainsaw for what it's supposed to be used for.
And now I'm going to be an idiot, because I take a week off and I forget everything. This is a quick play spell.
Every spell I'm showing you is a quick play except for the field spell, which is at the end.
It doesn't
Actually, no.
stay on the field.
No, it's an instant speed spell. Correct.
You play it, you make them discard 1 random card and banish the top 2 of the deck, and then this card goes to the graveyard.
Correct. Yep.
So it doesn't even sit on the field to keep disrupting them.
All of these so far that you've seen are one-time use, yes.
I know you guys hate people messing with your hand, and random discard can be brutal.
Well, this discard versus hand knowledge, I think, are two different things. I will say, yes, you're not completely wrong that we also don't like discard, but you don't get to see their hand and, like, pick their card or anything. So I think that makes it...
I don't know, am I crazy? This one doesn't seem as good.
That's fair.
Because, like, hitting the random card might not be... It might be very much not what you want.
It also discards to the graveyard.
The floor is much lower.
Okay. I think that's a fair assessment.
I think it's fine to fill in the deck
Sure.
if you need a critical mass of banishing the top 2 cards of the deck. This isn't the worst card I've seen, but it doesn't seem nearly as good as the other 2.
You could also consider, too, that it's more redundant copies of Special Summon the Runic Monster from the extra deck as well. So there is, like, that other angle to consider.
Sure.
Like, so maybe you don't play it for the mill part, you only want to play it for the Special Summon part, which there are other things to summon, which I'll show you later. So that's another angle just to consider as you're evaluating these cards. But I think you're pretty on point that this is less useful compared to the other. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Freezing Curses.
Oh, right. Shit.
This one also looks like this.
I hate
really
that you
does.
can't buy
It's
it.
kinda weird. There's like a special lore specifically for this deck. Like it goes for a whole new vibe, and it's really funny because you're skipping all your battle phases, but you get this first-person look at going into all these fights, but you're just not fighting. Like really, we should be in our little garden padded fortress tower, just firing a sniper rifle.
The root's protection is now ready to roll.
Yeah. Same thing. Okay. Target 1 effect monster your opponent controls. Negate its effects. Then banish the top 3 of the deck. Yep. Okay. Now we're stopping. It's like a hand trap, but not. Right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of.
It's like it's just like a trap.
So you're very much just like I set pass. It's only until the end of this turn, but it does seem necessary. I mean, the things, it does seem to get all of its effects.
Yep.
I've seen monsters with a lot of effects in your game. Yep. Like, I like the idea of taking a whole paragraph of text out of the wheelhouse of your opponent. It almost feels like you're fighting a battle of words. Anything has less words than it actually is.
It's interesting because there are some effects that only activate on summon, like your Enter the Battlefield effect. So, like, Freezing Curses that, they're not going to get to do anything extra compared to being, like, an effect that uses, like, activation speed multiple times in a turn. So, there are some instances where, even though it's at the end of the turn, that's enough to basically make that monster into a kill like that's nothing. So, that is something to consider.
Next, we have this card called Breast Death. It's an enchantment with flash, so you can play it anytime. It's a 1 enchantment, but when it enters, you draw a card, which you apply. And Breast Down reads that all creatures, like, have no abilities.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Okay. So it, like, takes the text boxes of the creatures on the field, but if there's a creature on the stack that's entering the field, it doesn't do the thing that it would enter and do. So, yeah, that card is surprisingly good. It was never standard legal. It's from one of those Masters sets that went straight to Modern, and people love it. Or they hate it, rather. One of the two. It's such a good card.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me of.
Okay, I think that's a fair analogy. Here's your next one.
It draws, and it's an effect veiler that draws. That's awesome.
Nothing new except this middle bit. Target 1 face-up monster on the field. Next time that monster will be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn, it is not destroyed. Also, cannot attack. And then banish the top 3 cards of the deck. Interesting. Target 1 face-up monster. Next time that monster would be destroyed by battle or card effects. Why would you want to keep it being destroyed? It can be your own thing. It can be your own thing. And it banishes the top 3 of the opponent's deck either way. Not your deck. Okay. And you don't want it to attack, because you never have a battle phase. So this protects your own thing that you want to protect, or it can keep an opponent's thing from attacking. So it plays offense and defense. It's a two-way threat.
And it has the both utility of being able to get around a Runic monster from the extra deck if you don't want to use that first deck.
Yep. Alright, I'm gonna recap really quick. 3 copies of each card are legal?
That's correct.
Is that right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 24, 27. Alright, we banked their whole deck.
Try to do the math there.
Just keeping track. Yeah, just keeping track of number-wise, we've banished absolutely everything. We're great. Everything's great. It's fine. Oh, good. Oh, good. I can't wait to see
What are you
what the
doing
extra
running
deck
towards
does.
me?
Just wait. We haven't gotten to the best parts yet. What do you think about Slumber now?
It puts off the problem, but in decks like this, that can be enough. 3 cards is not 2, but it's also not 4. It's like right in the middle where you want to be. And of course, we're still waiting to see our monster from the extra deck that, that really makes all these things extra utility, because they can all be that instead. But the main ability, it can work in 2 different ways, and it does what you want it to do.
Yeah, it's a neat card.
It's
So maybe in Scream,
redundancy that
any
keeps you
Scream
alive.
need to get hit yet? Or are you still in the camp that these all seem fine?
I hate it when you say that.
Just asking. Just asking.
I have to go back to the top. Dude, the printing tip thing is just immediately, I'm so like, what the hell? But there you go. Hugin doesn't seem that good because I haven't seen the field spell, so I can't
You'll
judge.
get to the field.
And then, individually, looking at these cards, do I see the busted thing yet? I think if it's going to be one of these runic spells, it has to be
I
something
could
that
just
is
live off the
used in
ancient
a
blades,
less
but like,
intuitive way. So
I'm pretty sure the
I need a
Royal Guard
monster that when you
sets
combine with one of these
are like
spells does
5
something
points
extra
stronger than
broken.
all of
Okay.
these.
I don't think on
You're not
their
there
own
yet.
they are a problem.
Okay.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
And like,
All right,
you know,
just asking.
having
Just
some
for the
variety
audience's
is
sake,
nice.
No worries. All right, here's your deck.
It'll always be
Golden
nice.
Droplet. We have another spell. We have some happy waifus.
Maybe you should have saved this for the waifu video at the top left.
Hello. Who's this? So what we got here? Your opponent draws 1 card and then you banish the top 4 of their deck. They draw a card? Are you going to the Crimson School of Mill? I don't know.
I mean, I'm not familiar, but that is technically a form of. It's like you milled them 5 cards in a way. Just saying.
Man. It's just every time, like, you're playing a game with Crim and he's playing a mill deck and you draw a card, he's just like, oh, that's fine. That's mill for 1. I like that.
It's a mill for
like
1.
every time. Yeah. Yep, that's how he looks at it. And it's hard because I get so jealous of card drawing. He gets so happy.
Don't worry, we're getting there. We're almost there.
We haven't seen ways to tutor up these spell cards, right?
So you have
Tip does. Okay. So, putting it all together, if there are enough of these things that banish 4 cards, or even, hell, heaven forbid, goes higher than that, you could do what's called Turbo Mill, right? You could just try to go to the dome and try to get rid of their whole deck as fast as possible, make their deck unfunctional, or leave them in a spot where they can't win the game that way, right? You can make that play. If there's enough of this effect. And then you don't care that they drew the card.
It goes higher than 4.
Yeah, let me see the outskirts of Hyrule
The other
Castle.
thing I was going to say is you can just run one of these.
If I remembered correctly, the outskirts of Hyrule Castle does
just end them. So
have a lot of Royal Guard Malice enemies.
I'm scared. It's a hammer. It's.
I want
Runic
everything
Spiking
but the
Storm.
bow, because
I
the bow
love
is
these
worthless
skeletons
considering
in the
everything
tornado
else we
vibe.
have is just more than enough already.
It's a Skullnado, guys.
Skullnado.
Actual magic card.
Both are
Skullnado.
durability efficient.
Activate
Super
one
durability,
effects.
super
Yep,
efficient.
all these things. Banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck up to the number of cards they control.
You said more
Up
than
to
4.
the number of cards they control.
But for context, there are 5 monster zones. There is an extra monster zone. There are 5 spell and trap zones, and there is a field spell zone. There are possibly the most you could get off of this is 12.
Wow.
That's if they're occupying every zone by you. So, that's never gonna happen.
True, and I bet they try to play around it to the best of their ability against this deck, which is probably its own kind of annoying experience. It's tough because if you only have one monster and it gets hit by the thing that says it can't attack, then you give up another turn, and every turn gets worse because all these are once per turn, but it's like the cumulative effect, right? It just keeps going up. So you need to commit to the board, you need to try to kill them when you actually get to attack them. You need to play your stuff. And then this hits you with the hammer.
Yeah, they are.
It's your hammer.
Oh god. Oh god. And of course, if they do try to play around, you just go special summon something. Not sure what, but I'm sure it'll be great. Okay, this is nice. I mean, either at the one of it's the same card. It's the same theory.
Nah.
It's either
We have
either
three.
you have a critical mass of effects and you do all of this and just get one tutor because if one deck is the same as having like a threat, you have access to these things. So the opponent always has to play around with one. I think one is more often the right call. Oh my god. So annoying.
Speaking of annoying, here's our first teams.
Where did their swords go?
Card damage the top card of their deck. Great.
I told you would like this deck. I told you. Oh my god.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so your whole deck is quick play spells except for this field's.
It's like you had to put your.
Of course. How could I forget? Alright, so I haven't seen a tutor for this.
Runic Tip to tutor.
Runic Tip's starting to get banned. Alright. So right now, Runic Tip gets literally every card you showed me, and I still haven't seen the field spell, which you'll see next. You get this gonna get. Okay, show me.
If I haven't sold you on this deck yet, wait till you read this one.
Runic Fountain.
This is a field spell.
Okay.
Search
You can
team
activate
durability.
play spell cards from your hand during your opponent's turn.
So you don't even have to set them. You can just activate them.
I totally knew the whole time that you had to set your spell cards.
Yeah.
Of course. In Magic, we don't set our spell cards ever, so, yeah.
To be fair, you're only setting your spells because they basically function like trap cards. So
This just means I get to play Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh!
literally, but it was like the step.
This lets you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic, but this lets me play Magic.
Daru's
Yu-Gi-Oh!
protection is now ready to roll.
Keep going.
Okay, once per turn, if you activate a quick spell card, you can target up to 3 runic quick play spells in your graveyard. Place them on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then draw the same number of cards. This is the thing you
Holy
can
fuck.
Yep. This is the continue, and this lasts.
So Runic Tip can search this, and notably Hugin can also search this, which means every runic spell, every runic spell can search this because you can just special summon Hugin and search the fountain. We get it, folks? Did we get it?
Opening hand can just be like, search up the Hugin. The Hugin gets to this, you play the this, and then if you have one quick play spell, you're off to the races.
Yep.
If you activate a quick play spell card, you can target up to 3 in your graveyard. So, if you play one from your hand, can you target the one you played from your hand? Does it go to the graveyard and then you can target it right away, or do you need different ones in the graveyard to use that ability?
So you need to have different ones because this would go on the stack. So essentially, you activate your runic card, and then it says when you activate a runic spell, as chain 2, Fountain would go on top of that, and so you can't shuffle back the card.
There should be Royal Guard weapons defined as well, and they should also be the enhanced durability
But if you
versions.
want to just get this going and start trading every quick play spell as a 1-for-1, you need 2 quick play spells. One to play and one in deck.
Minimum one in the graveyard, yes.
Let me
let's
how many spells
find a
have
way
you shown me
inside,
to meet this
shall we?
requirement?
Go ahead, take a look.
Yeah,
How about
30 some.
Yeah.
Like 30 cards here, and you just draw your deck. And like a bunch of them are once per turn. That's the guardrail.
That's the guardrail.
That each one is once per turn. Oh my god! And you can play them on either turn, right?
Correct.
You can be drawing 3 cards on my turn and 3 cards on your turn. Correct. 3 cards on my turn. Correct. Oh, what are we doing? Steve, what is this deck? What's happened?
We told you we liked it. We told you we liked it.
Like,
Thank you, Daru.
the allure, it seems like a turbo card. No? It's like, do we even need to be turbo? We're just out drawing everything. And killing everything. Nothing ever attacks. Oh
It's
my
the
god.
blue player's dream.
Oh my god. Okay. This card, this fountain card, let's talk. You are designing a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Would this card be playable if it didn't draw any cards? If it just, like, was this ability alone playable in Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah, if it just stopped after you can play stuff on your opponent's turn. Like, I can see that as a magic card. That seems like a pretty end for a Yu-Gi-Oh card, because you're down a card, right? Maybe it would still even see play in this deck. Okay, if it's one card, if the most you could do was draw one card with this, I think it's already a card. I think it's good. Okay, you're fine. Okay, I think you're already there. 3 cards?
3 cards on
They
each
were-
turn.
They added pot of green to it and said more? What are... They were scared this deck sucked or something. They were like, our runic deck can't possibly, like, flop. We need something that puts it way over the edge. And if there's a problem, we'll just ban that one card. They were like, we're gonna put this synergistic package together, but we're scared it's not enough, and we're just gonna put all the power in one freaking card. They're like, what the hell are we doing?
Play Yu-Gi-Oh, buddy.
Oh my god. Okay. There's definitely still, there's more, right?
I remember there's supposed to be a spear here.
To show you the extra deck.
Am I wrong?
You've seen all the runic spells. So
It might have been that I already picked it up and I never
you saw Yu-Gi-Oh!
bothered getting it, and
So,
then
you know, Yu-Gi not only shows
it hasn't
you Yu-Gi-Oh
responded
stuff, but
yet.
also can protect Yu-Gi-Oh spells if they try to destroy it and distribute off the instead. Okay, shit.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
What a great thing to have on a card.
Here's your next one.
What the heck? You gotta have a little hawk boy here? What's going on? Moonin the Runic Wings. Fairy Fusion effect. 2 monsters. All that care. Defense is 2,000. I love the synergy of attack 0. Like, they could give it attack 100. They want to make it really obvious that it goes in this deck. Anyway, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can discard one.
God, they added blight
Like, I don't know,
everywhere.
play spells. It's probably not super relevant that you're just going to use later to draw
In
three
all the
cards.
places that
You can
literally
have one
don't
Runic
even
Achievement
matter.
spell. Runic deck to your game.
So the only target for this
The place they should have added blights in are the waterfalls because the Zora armor makes getting to Ganon so ridiculously
Sure,
easy.
that makes sense why you would put that card in the deck now. Because like I was saying, now that just looks like extra gravy, like it looks extra turbo. But if you're gonna tutor it up potentially anyway, you may as well. It's just free value away. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a runic card or cards you control, or a set cards you control, you can quick effect banish this card you control with this activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Once per turn during the end phase, gain 1,000 life points. Why?
Because you're a build deck. You need to make sure you don't die. You need the life point.
Again, it's like they need every card to just scream at you, hey, this deck, we built this deck in this set. Have you seen this card that is perfect in that deck? Not only does it have 0 attack because you're never attacking, it gains life points because why not? That's what that deck needed. More ways to not die.
In defense of that, I believe these cards were initially released in what we call the Echo set, and what those are is a set that contains the separate archetypes, and so the idea is that you can almost self-contain build the deck just from like buying packs of this set. Most of the cards
You're a good dude. You should not be.
don't tell the comments that I'm doing that.
Comments understand. They understand. You're a good guy. You don't need your defense. We all come here to dunk on the games we love, right?
Of course, why we
Sweet. So I've got that out of the way. This card is... Oh my goodness. I mean, it fits in the deck like a glove. Just like an absolute. It gives you a reason to run that one continuous spell, which I thought might even be extra. So now, why not? Why not just have
right? Because if you already have,
what you want.
if you already have the fountain, let's say, then you can just summon Moon in and get the allure that you wouldn't have had otherwise, or vice versa, right? If you already have the allure, you can then use online.
And all of these spell cards, quick play spell cards, are situational in a way. Yes, they can also tutor, but there are some that are always going to be worse than others, and your deck because you have such a redundancy of impacts that you want some of them in the graveyard, just so you can start ripping more of them.
Yep, so the fact that he discards just helps the power.
Yeah, there's your next one. Card's perfect. Kiri the Runic Fangs. Level 4 0 attack, 1,000 defense. To have any attack.
I'll let you know what the actually,
Get it out. That's what got banned. That was the mistake.
Okay, we'll see.
Anyway, cannot be destroyed by card effects. That's a combo, by the way, with all the protection cards.
Just to make sure.
If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can target one non-quick play runic spell card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. Okay, easy. You just use this, go get the continuous spell or the field spell. If by some miracle, at this point we're like, if they played the spell, the runic spell that made them discard it at random, if by some miracle they hit the lottery and actually kill one of these cards, you just get it back.
Urbosa's Fury is ready.
You need recovery, right?
Solitaire, dude. Solitaire. We're playing solitaire, baby. 90 years old, same game, 10 billion hours logged. Just doing it again. Why not?
Oh. I just have the whole wild
You said
set
you
now.
wanted one with attack points. Here we go.
Sure, defense. Great. Firiki the Runic Fangs is level 5. When an attack is declared involving this card in the extra monster zone. What does that mean?
For instance, remember, there's only one extra monster zone you can occupy, right? Those two zones at the top between the two players. So it has to be there for you to use this effect while it's attacking. If it's in the main monster zone, I don't know how the fuck you can get it there. But if it was in the main monster zone, then you wouldn't be able to use this effect.
And when it said the word that's like blowing my mind is involving this card. What we're saying is, if this is in the extra monster zone and it attacks.
Yeah, I don't know why they worded it that way, but it's also put on, so whatever.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it also sounds like it would trigger when somebody attacked through this card, because they're this.
Yeah, it might be the way
This is the location of a Royal Guard outfit.
Well, because it says when attack
Hilarious.
is declared involving this card, that doesn't. So I think if they attack it, you also mill too. Yeah. So maybe that's.
No. I understand why nobody knows how this works. Because nobody has ever attacked with this card.
I mean, you're not wrong. So I'm not, because again, you never get a battle phase with this deck. So, to be fair, who's ever read that part of the effect?
Alright, you can banish the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Awesome. Either player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. That's great. If this card
The armory surprisingly has no good armor. Great.
Play spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand.
Here's for 2.
These portcullises make no sense.
Return.
Portculli? I do not know the plural for that word.
See, it's funny because simultaneously, I feel like you love this, but you're also, cringing at the fact that this even exists.
Yes, that's exactly it. Why are we... Okay, I both love it, I love shining a light on the true degeneracy that I've kind of committed my life to.
You know? Oh, I would never.
Yes, I see myself, and I see the absolute monster I've become, and I have to, I roll my eyes at many things, I also roll my eyes at myself. At least I'm fair.
Nice and balanced.
I think it's so funny that it has to do
That's
that.
our way out of the library, I guess.
Yep.
Just make it 0 and don't have that line of text.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Or just have it that you can attack with a 0 attack monster since you don't take battle damage anyway, right? What's it matter?
What's it matter? Nothing matters. Just, you know what? The damage is not the attack or defense. The damage is their deck. Their life total is...
Precisely. Life total is irrelevant.
Is it 30? Is it 40? 30?
8,000.
It's 40. No, it's 40, right?
Yeah, it's 40. It's 40, yeah.
40! Their life total is 40, and this does 2. So it's that. Okay. Is there more?
This is your last card, and then you have to come to your decision, and then I will give you my big spiel at the end.
Sleep in here?
Sure.
Sleep in here?
Sure.
The runic mane. Because it's a horse. It took me a while. There is a horse back there. It looks like it has about 8 legs. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh my god. This is another one of those cards where looking at your digital image of it makes my eyes just...
Yeah, you can blame the fact there's not any good printing of this card for the scanner, so that's what we got.
Wow. So this is a level 9 count.
Correct.
This has an attack and a defense.
There's a
Ban it.
fear.
Get it out here. Wrong deck. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, the quick effect is target one face-up monster your opponent controls and banish both that monster and this card into the phase. If a card or cards is
I
added
just got your
from the
ability
main
up.
deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon one runic token, which is a very light level 4 attack 1500, defense 1500 in attack position. You can only use each effect of this once per turn. Why is this? Okay. Why this? You know, I got used to a certain way of life, Simo, where you just handed me cards that were called Runic XYZ, and it was f***ing obvious why they were in the deck. So let's try to figure this one out. Does it mill things? No. It has an attack and defense? Weird. Does it make you skip your battle phase? Not exactly. It makes tokens. Why are those good? What's going on? Okay, I'm gonna look at...
To help you a little bit, this card was released in a later set as support, so it was not released like a lot of the original cards that you should. I think all the other cards except for the first part, let's say aside, which is also the other card that you saw before for hack points. I think both of these were as like
They were like, yeah, give it a hand. Give this a little more oomph. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, some things with attack points.
Your main phase or their battle phase. Target a face-up monster this card into the end phase. Which means then they re-enter.
Correct.
The card is added to the main deck of your opponent's hand. So it's another way of stopping tutors. So it could be like an 8-piece for
It
that.
doesn't really stop them, you just get some value.
I guess that, yeah, that's true. You just get another body.
Yeah.
You know, body for probably don't care. A body that never attacks. They really don't care.
Hey, it can defend you so you don't die. You know, that's important for a mill deck.
Yeah, you're right. I still feel...
It comes in attack position, though, which I find really fun.
What are we doing with that ability, though? I mean, is it just interaction, kinda? It's just something that consistently is there, keeping your opponent's one thing from doing its thing, forcing them to commit more to the board, force them to commit more to the board, set up the hammer. Yeah, but that works, right? Like, we have a card that is just continuously on
Stop
board.
fucking backflipping.
One of their monsters attack. They need to play more monsters. And then when they have those monsters on the field, it's Smiting Storm for like 6 or 7 instead of 2 or 3. That puts you over the edge. Is there something else I'm missing that breaks this card?
Maybe you can figure it out. I will say it's not super intuitive with what you've seen so far. So I will be surprised if you figure it out. And I'll tell you the spiel.
If the card is added, it has to be about just like the banishing cards. But if you add multiple bodies,
Like I said, I will be impressed if you figure this out. So don't feel bad if you can't figure it out.
I want to impress you. My life to impress YouTube audiences, okay? I want it.
You want to change it?
Where is it? No, I don't want it.
You don't want to? Okay, I was going to give you a little hint.
Dude, we're not even at an hour of the app yet.
Don't worry. The spiel will get us to an hour. Don't worry.
I do not mean to imply I don't believe in your yap. I'm well aware. But man, I feel like it's right on the tip of my tongue.
The runic tip.
I feel like it's right on the runic tip of my tongue. And it's gotta be there, man. It's gotta be there. There's gotta be something that's like And target.
I want to help. I want to help.
I'm so I don't want it. Go on. I think I'm okay. Just a second. Give me a second.
Only place I haven't been to yet at this point
What's this card?
is
What's this
the
He's still impressed.
dining
with
hall.
Saying.
I
'Cause
know.
I'm fairly
I want
certain
max
there
points.
is.
Max point. You're not getting a point. Right? You're only getting a point to kill this card.
That's right. There's still a golden snitch and all, but man, I really do want it. I was trying to find like when a monster enters, maybe you banish more stuff or something like that, or something that only happens when a monster enters. I can't do it. I
You want the
can't
hint?
find it.
Want the hint?
Okay, give me a hint.
It has nothing to do with the text box.
Jesus Christ. Oh, it has nothing to do with this card. There's nothing to do with the text box.
I mean, it's not that it, like, for the larger purpose of this card, the text box is relevant.
So that it's a
Where's the
level.
entrance to the dining hall?
Something of that level.
That's why I said it's not easy to interpret based off of what I've showed you. You have to use your greater knowledge.
Alright, my greater knowledge. I don't have greater knowledge of this game. I still feel like an absolute moron every time we go into like one.
I'll just tell you.
Okay.
As I go into my big sheet. Okay. So, the runic archetype. First of all, you have to guess what card you think got hit. Only one of the cards got hit in this archetype. So which one was it?
And, I mean, are we saying bait? Or do I not know?
Not necessarily. I said which card got hit. That means it could have gotten banned, it could have gotten limited, it could have gotten semi-limited. So I'm not going to tell you which until the end, but one of them got hit in one of those capacities.
Good God.
The OCG is simply with the team. We always go by TCG. What is the most alarm bells I know?
I mean, the fountain.
I carried the explosion.
Okay.
But there is a debate to me, which is it the fountain or the consistent access to the fountain?
That's fair.
Dude, what the fuck's going on?
It feels like if you restricted it to one,
Just let the roof handle it, I guess.
It's so hard to
The
kill.
hell?
You can just get it back. It might be right to play one. I mean, it says once per turn, but it's not a hard once per turn. If you have multiples of these, right?
Well, you can only have one field spell. So it has a field spell, has its own zone, and you only have one of it. If you had a second one, it would like replace the first one.
So yeah, does restricting this even do anything? It doesn't feel like it, to be honest. In fact, it might be right to only play one, because you can just get it back out of the extra deck, you can search it up. The tip searches the thing that searches the that.
Well, any of your runic spells can tutor for Gary, and then Gary can get back the fountain, hypothetically.
Yeah. So if it's it doesn't matter if it's one or another in your deck. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I don't know if restricting it matters.
Okay.
Shit, we're in the library.
Kill the deck.
That's a good question.
They put out a lot of cards for this deck.
Again, deck building sets
The
typically
roof's
do that, 'cause
protection
they
is
don't
now ready to roll.
a bunch of like generic stuff.
There's a
It's like
shield and
one
a
archetype
sword
with like
there,
15
but
to 20 cards.
again,
Second
it's a
archetype with
claymore
15 to 20
that I'm
cards. Third
after.
archetype with 15 to 20 cards. And like maybe some supplemental cards that incidentally support those archetypes, and that's the whole set. So that's why I showed you so many cards, because like this
This deck doesn't have access to card draw. I don't know that it functions.
Okay.
Because you just run out of stuff.
Okay.
You can answer, but all your opponent has to do is get some value, and then you're dead. That's like the constant control problem in Magic the Gathering 2, is you have to get up cards. Without access to card draw, this feels like it might be a dead deck. And the fountain is your card draw. Definitely is.
What else gives you alarm bells, or is that the only one?
Well, now I'm looking at the tip,
Okay.
and I'm like, it's everything. It's just everything. It gets you everything, if I'm understanding all these cards correctly.
You're correct. It gives you everything that is not something from the extra deck, which every other runic card. Well, actually, the runic card also gives you stuff from the extra deck, but like you obviously don't search those; you just summon them, so it's a difference.
And I know you guys love redundancy in tutors, but there's got to be a reason why you don't just print a card that says 0 mana, search for any card. Like right? Like there's no real drawback to this within the archetype. It gets you every piece you could possibly need.
Okay.
Does redundancy have its limits in Yu-Gi-Oh, or is this?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
I That's a tough one for me. Because if you get rid of this, now you're saying you need Hugin, right? You have to somehow...
summon Hugin, which any runic quick play spell can do to get found.
Then that doesn't matter.
Okay.
The tip is everything, but every single runic spell can get a Hugin that gets...
Except Fountain and Allure. But that's basically all. Yeah, that's like 8 cards times 3 is 24 if you max out on all.
Yeah, so you would have to hit so many things. I mean, if this deck was a problem and it had to get hit, what if you hit the Hugin?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Like,
at that point, only Runic Tip searches the Fountain. So
that's right.
There's a lot of redundancy.
Ban Hugin, and that was out of the extra deck, right?
Correct. And Hugin also protects the Fountain on top of it.
Yep. Okay. Now maybe there's a risk to
God.
Fountain or having it on the field. Maybe you do need multiple. Maybe it becomes a different deck building equation. I'm not sure. You know what? I don't care. If you're gonna hit the card, don't try to dive and nip around it. I think if they were saying this was too good, you gotta go with the broken card. I think it has to be the Fountain. And I think if they bandage it another way to try to make these tutor chains more difficult and tricky, and to try to make the Fountain more vulnerable, I think you can try all that. Okay, what that looks like.
It doesn't seem like they're random spawns, apart from the Yiga.
With the shiny new card, and they tried to ban the things around it to be okay, and it never was. It was never okay. They always had to come for the card eventually. So if you're telling me only one thing got hit, the one thing that has to be hit is the Fountain. So I'm gonna go with
Final answer.
Final answer.
Alright, spiel time. So, Runic is a very interesting archetype. One thing you may have missed is that none of these cards preclude you from playing other archetypes in tandem with it. You know, I've shown you some cards that say, you can only special summon monsters of a certain type. That you have the battle phase restriction, sure, but this is a very open-ended archetype in the fact that you can tie it together with other archetypes to actually make it even more playable in some cases. So for instance, there was a deck called Sprite, which actually relied on level 2 monsters. That was level B, and Hugin happening to be a level 2 monster, and you have 30 different ways to summon the Hugin. Most of the Sprite cards have the effect that say special summon a level... you can special summon this for free if you control a level 2 monster. So Runic was a great pair for this because, again, you're omitting your battle phase for going first, it doesn't matter. You could summon the Hugin, and then now all of a sudden you can summon all your Sprite monsters because you have a level 2 monster. So that was a natural evolution in that deck. There's been plenty of other strategies that have also taken advantage of the Runic cards in similar ways. There was Manchuria Runic, there was Vistial Runic, there's so many different Runics. Unfortunately, the most popular version of this deck was Runic Stun, or Prison, for all you Magic lovers out there. Basically, the other cards that this deck would play were floodgates that would prevent the opponent from playing the game, because then you don't have to worry about the battle phase restriction. Your main win condition is to just mill them out. And even if you didn't mill them out fast enough, you just out-resource them with a card like Fountain, because you're always just constantly getting cards back. So let's quickly run through all the different cards. Runic Tip was absolutely insane, and was played at 3 because it searches anything in the deck. Flashing Fire is also pretty decent. I don't know if you can play 3 copies of it necessarily, but the thing is they all special summon a big monster. They're basically just a free tutor to get to battle, which is basically a really good version. So Flashing Fire is played in multiple copies. Destruction, which pops spells and traps, is fine. The thing is, you care more about monsters and spells and traps because it's not as common. So you may play 1 or 2 copies of this, become sideboarded if anything, just against the spell and trap heavy decks, because it's a very monster heavy game. Dispelling, I don't think really saw a ton of play unless they wanted more runic cards to special summon runic guys from the extra deck. It's kind of a whatever effect. Discarding the random cards is particularly good, just because you put something in the graveyard, a lot of decks in the graveyard. Freezing Curses saw play in maximum copies because it negates effects of monsters, and that's very good in our game. Slumber is one that affects your battle card effect. You might play 1 of this, but it's for the most part not particularly good. Golden Droplet I don't think ever saw play unless they really wanted more names to summon. Big monsters from extra. The majority have 20 without Droplet that you would never play this card. And then Spiking Storm also actually did see some play because since Mill is the the objective for a lot of these decks, this is theoretically the card that gives you the most build value, right? Because you're going to be able to hit like 6, 7, 8, 9 cards, whatever. Allure, sometimes saw play, but for the most part, like you said, it was kind of unnecessary because the deck already just built so much anyway. And it's basically a 2-nothing card, so that's something that we don't really like to see. Like I said, maybe the purest of the mill decks play this, but for the most part, kind of just skipped on the board. And that brings us to Fountain. Fountain is fucking crazy. It is a draw 3 on both players' turns in a perfect world. And it's not hard because since you have to run spells from your hand, they're insulated from your opponent, like artifacts and such, because there's not a lot of hand destruction in our game. So they can just sit with a grip full of cards, and then when something comes up that they don't like, they can flashing fire it to destroy it. They can freezing curses it to negate it. They can summon a monster, like if they have to like defend themselves or whatever. It's not hard for them to get 3 cards in the graveyard. Pretty fast shuffles them back, you draw 3 cards. It also puts up the bottom, so you're not guaranteed to draw the same ones, which is nice because they all have the once per turn clause. And this card is absolutely batshit crazy. Before we get to that, we'll go back to fusion monsters here. Hugin is also nuts just because it gets a fountain, and that's like your main win condition. Because, like you actually pointed out, the biggest problem with this deck is without fountain, you just run out of gas, and that's like the typical control player issue. So, having Hugin basically at all times to get your fountain is very important. And so, even like I said, if you limited, or like you said, if you limited the fountain to 1, Hugin can still fetch it, right? Whereas if you ban Hugin, for instance, now all of a sudden you either have to hard draw it or search it off of the tip, because there's no other way to access it. But Hugin is a staple 3-of in these decks, just because it is just basically the best of the fusion monsters. Hugin's okay. If you're not playing the Allure, and like you don't have a target to search for it, we have our time rules in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you go into time, whoever's the most life points wins at the end of the phase. So Mooning can be used for degenerate purposes, like you go into game 3 with 60 seconds left, you just play a runic spell, summon Mooning, gain 1,000 life points at the end phase, the time calls in the round, you win the round. So that's kind of like a sketchy part of this card, but you still play the extra deck. Gary's also important.
Extra deck. So extra deck life gain is a win, though.
Correct. So
yeah,
it is.
Okay.
It is. Yep.
Nice.
Gary is also important just because you can get back your fountain on summon, which is very nice in case fountain destroyed or anything like that. And it's also just removal. It's also good with full 4. There's like some level like an extra deck that left. Synchro summon. Frecky, if you actually do have your battle phase and you're trying to win by battle, like you could play Frecky, but it's fine just because it can get you a really quick play back if it dies, so like that's not the worst. Like if you have Tip in the graveyard, then Tip can search your fountain if your fountain got destroyed. So like there's some application for Frecky. I don't know why it has 2,000 attack. You're never fucking attacking with this card. I think I've had attack by this card like once my whole life. And it didn't even matter. And then Sleipnir's fine. It's a unique form of removal in terms of the fact that like vanishes till the end phase, and it does target but it doesn't destroy. So it's like a thing on the field protection from like destruction. You can do shit to get out of the way, which I never really had on this deck, so I don't like to do that. The main reason people play Sleipnir is because it's level. You're very close to this one. So it's a level 9. Which is very nice because if you're playing this in tandem with other decks with level 1 shooters and then synchro to a level 10 monster, and the level 10 synchro pool is very good. They recently just banned the best level 10 synchro monster in the game. That was something that these decks would sometimes play just to have like another wall of insulation for whatever their strategy is. So that's why I think you're probably never going to get this one because you have to use all the extra deck mechanics.
You're so right. I was never.
You're that. If you got that, if you figured that one out, because I can show you any context. But yeah, the best level. There's a lot of good level 10 synchros, and again for like Jerry and Frecky, they have particular levels that for certain combinations of decks that the levels on these cards matter to summon certain monsters to like do whatever that deck is trying to do. But you were correct, and Runic Fountain was the only card in this deck that got hit. If you can believe it, all they have done to it is semi-limited. That is it. Put it from 3 copies to 2, because apparently they thought 3 was too good.
What?
Yep.
I didn't even know semi-limiting was a thing.
We unfortunately also wish it wasn't a thing, but it is.
What the hell? What's going on?
I'm a huge advocate of that list sheet. Every card on there is limited or unlimited, but for whatever reason, on the most recent ban list, they semi-limited like 10 cards, and that infuriated me.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. What do you know? Broken card is broken. Crazy how that happens. Insane.
It's just funny though that they semi-limit. I think in the Asian territories it's limited to 1, which I think is a lot more impactful because now it's like, okay, if your first one and only one dies, you need to use like guaranteed cash. So it's a lot more temperamental that way. But you're correct. Like if the fountain is not on, like the main, if you're playing against the deck, like priority number 1 is get fountain on. Because if they don't have fountain there, you can't use the stuff from hand. You're not drawing 3 cards on the fucking turn, which is just nuts in our game.
How do you get the fountain up?
So there's plenty of ways. So you can, for instance, only protects from destruction by card effect. So for instance, there's a card. I'll just quickly show you this here because I don't think I would ever show you this card in context. Just give this card a quick read.
Cosmic Cyclone. Pay 1,000 life points. Then target 1 spell or trap and banish it.
Oh, so this doesn't destroy. This vanishes. Yeah. So this is a way that you can work around the destruction effect, protection effect of Hugin. I think Moonin protects from targeting. Yeah, it says when you effect that targets a Runic card. So if you had Moonin out, Moonin can protect from Cosmic Cyclone, but the extra monsters, though, you can only have 1 monster. So Hugin's typically what's there because it gets you the fountain in the first place. So Hugin wouldn't protect from a card like Cosmic Cyclone, for instance. So we have specific cards you can use that aren't destruction cards to get and banishing is very good. So
I have card game thoughts / complaints.
Okay, let's hear it.
We have this in Magic too. We have abilities like indestructible. And when you're a new player and you read indestructible, you're like, oh my god, finally, my awesome card doesn't just get killed. And then you like actually
And then you
buy
have to exile it. It's like
Yep, you spend you spend your $40 on your shiny mythic and you put it in your deck and you get it on the field for the first time and they're like, oh, I didn't destroy it, I exiled it, and you're like, I hate my life. I hate my life right now so much. It is nice that it adds like those layers to the game, but something I should be remembering to ask when we play these games is very much like, okay, how much does that line actually matter? How many ways are there to still fair ask that in a cheeky way?
I would say under most circumstances it does its job. Like people would sideboard Cosmic Cyclone against Runic specifically to just take out Fountain. It wouldn't be something you would main deck unless everyone's playing fucking Runic. And from a competitive perspective, Runic has had some decent success. It really just depends on like which hybrid of the build you're playing. The Stun version has been like recently the most popular way to play this deck because like the other variants are just like not as good. But historically, it's actually had a lot of success. This archetype is actually rather new. It's only printed in 2022. So it's actually done quite well in its short time in the game, and people love that it's a very unique way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This is like more of a Magic deck, I think a lot of people would say that. But it's a lot of people like it. Oh, great! You're gonna play Runic's Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. We're screwed.
There is also a chance you get another React video out of it.
That's true.
Oh, very cool.
What do you think?
Busted cards, busted. It was going through my head, like looking at the art and just the general vibe of the card and everything like that of Runic Fountain. While you were talking about it, it snapped in my head that this is Rhystic Study. It's just Rhystic Study. I can draw 3 cards a turn on everyone's turn, and I don't know. It looks and feels right now like Rhystic Study to me. If you put up the art from Enchanting Tales, it's like basically the same picture with a demon versus like a lightning, but it's like it's Rhystic Study.
So guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. I really hope you all enjoyed. let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all their continued support. So shout out to Shadow1317, Tinder0x3, MBT Play the Dolce, Loto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Star, Little Fayley, Dan Man Hoban, Draconic, Brian Dancer Class 7, Dylan Rare Hunter, JW11860, Glenn Daddy, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks McLafferty, MBT Cancel by Community soon, Cancel by Committee soon, Cancel by all players soon, Wonder Waffle, Daniel Howell, MBT and One Boxer Refueled Night of Passion, Electrician of the Ice Barrier, The Noble 129, Chris Adams, and Lilimancy. Thank you all again so much for watching. We will see you next time.
This 1212.
I could try just hanging around Hyrule's Field, I suppose. How often am I gonna encounter the Yiga though? Honestly, the Blood Moon cutscene being skipped might also fuck up the Panic Blood Moon triggers as well. Just go to Akala and see. Maybe I can find what I want here instead. I'll go trade the rest with the lady that's really obsessed with the weapons. Kinda sucks, but I do still want open inventory. I could also shelf them, I suppose. That's an option. Ooh, my electric bow does need a replacement. Could use them right now as well. Oh, I can mount you. Where's her shit? I just want the Royal Guards Claymore with 100+ durability. Is that really so much to ask for? Huh. Wait, where's my tingle bikini? I thought I already had the tingle bikini. Did the game crash when I finally got it? Or something? Kinda sucks.
Oh.
There's a panic blood moon.
Hey! Nah. Ah.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Oh. Nah. Ah.
wrong types of claymore. Fucking spear. Clearly I have no choice. I must increase the spawn rate. If you enter from here, this shrine isn't all that hard. That's a lot of rupees. What happened to my save when I was here? Oh, it's not that big of a loss, I suppose.
There are a lot of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's ban list for a number of reasons. The most common of which is that a card is simply too powerful to be allowed in standard play. However, many of these cards are not pointed at all in the relatively new Genesis form, which prompts the question, why is it that these cards are fine in Genesis, but problematic in Advance? And starting us off at number 10, we have Exodia the Forbidden One. This is a level 3 Dark Fiend with 1000 attack and defense, and one of the most famous effects in all of card games. If you have Exodia and all 4 of his limbs in your hand at the same time, you can summon him to your field and instantly obliterate your opponent. Exodia has had a long and interesting history of competitive play, almost always being quite bad, but having a few flashes of the pan across Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Famously, it was completely broken in the OCG thanks to the monster Sangan and Witch of the Black Forest's effects being written properly and triggering when they're sent to the graveyard by discarding, making assembling all 5 pieces of Exodia with cards like Useful Charity laughably easy. However, since then, the card has only ever been fringe playable at best. There was always the option of combining him with Royal Magical Library, which gets a spell counter each time you activate a spell card, and can remove 3 counters to draw a card with cards like Upstart Goblin and Into the Void that simply replace themselves. With enough of these cards in your deck, you can draw through all 40 cards in your deck and find the pieces of Exodia. However, this has never been all that competitive. Konami seems to purposefully limit the amount of draw power or cycling available to decks, specifically to box Exodia out of the format. Considering that this strategy would be a consistent FDK, that makes a lot of sense. The interesting part is that no matter how strong Exodia was, you never played more than one of the of Exodia. The card was never banned, only limited, but even at the times where more pieces of Exodia were legal, people only played one copy of each. This is because, even if you're a dedicated Exodia strategy, drawing less than all 5 of the Exodia pieces means that they're all completely dead draws. You only want to start finding them once you're in a position to get all 5, so limiting them was largely pointless. In fact, the reason the Exodia pieces are even limited to this day may simply have to do with how iconic the cards are. They are parts of the unstoppable Exodia after all. It kind of shows how powerful they are that you can only have one of them in your deck each, at least from a lore perspective. Genesis was in a very different position when it came to Exodia. Putting points on the Exodia pieces would have meaningfully hurt any Exodia strategies, unlike limiting them in the advanced format. And this is important as new Exodia support has come out and works as a legitimate powerful strategy. As far as deep draw Exodia goes, most of the individual pieces have already been hit. Royal Magical Library is at 100 points as the card only
Incredible.
hits, and most of the draw spells have been pointed as well. Upstart Goblin, Into the Void, and Chicken Game all have points associated with them to prevent silly FPKs from existing in the format, and that does a good job of stopping Deep Draw Exodia from being a real strategy. Essentially, the Exodia pieces were limited in the main game for a number of somewhat strange reasons, and hitting them in Genesis would do damage to strategies that are better dealt with in other ways, which is why Exodia is free to obliterate Genesis players with no restriction. And at number 9, we have Tempest Magician. This is a level 6 Dark Spellcaster with 2200 attack and 1400 defense. It requires a tutor monster and at least one
Where are all the random
spellcaster to
spawns?
summon.
I know
And
it's
it has
set to
the effect
low right
where,
now, but
when this card is special summoned, you can put a spell counter on hit and discard any number of cards from your hand to put that many spell counters on monsters you control. Finally, you can remove all spell counters from all cards on the field, deal 500 damage to your opponent for each spell counter removed this way. Now, Tempest Magician existed as a piece of spell counter support in the game for many years without doing too much of note. It did see play in the earlier years, being combined with cards like Breaker the Magical Warrior to get more spell counters for more spell trap destruction. It was also a way to close the game if you had some extra cards at hand to pitch a pile of spell counters. It would eventually get power crept out of the game for the most part, not having anything to do in a faster metagame. At least, that's what I would say, if not for one very important
and unfortunate application. As you can tell, there's no cap on how many spell counters you can remove with Tempest Magician, so if you can remove 16 spell counters from Magician, you can deal 8,000 damage to your opponent on the first turn of the game. This means that, if a deck could put enough spell counters out, Tempest Magician would be a problem. Well, eventually the Endymion archetype would come out, a pendulum deck built around spell counters. This deck had ways to get tons of spell counters in the field with cards like Soak, Neon, and
Stop doing that.
both pendulum monsters that gained a spell counter each time you activated a spell card while in your pendulum zones. You also had multiple mythical beast monsters who had the exact same effect. You combine this with the Spellbook archetype, which could now flow through a ton of spell counters in a single turn. This could allow you to stockpile an absolutely insane amount of spell counters, which was good for all of these cards already as they were a competent deck on their own. But it also meant that you could just summon Tempest Magician and win the game on turn 1 if your opponent didn't have an effect failure. This led to Tempest Magician getting banned in both the TCG and the OCG. However, since pendulums aren't allowed in Genesis format, this FTK is completely off the table. That's not to say that another FTK will never pop up with Tempest Magician, though admittedly it is very unlikely. Another spell counter deck did get printed, it's unlikely they'd be designed around stockpiling tons of spell counters the way these pendulum archetypes work. It's still a bit interesting that the card is legal in Genesis, as even some of the worst FTKs of Manageable have been boxed out of the format. But considering that Tempest Magician doesn't have a realistic FTK at the moment, it seems they're okay to let spell counter players have their Synchro Era support card until it actively proves itself to be a problem once again. However, this isn't the only FTK card that's not in Genesis. And the next spot on this list is actually able to perform an FTK in Genesis at the moment, though there is a pretty big asterisk on this card's FTK ability. And at number 8, we have Slash Draw. This is a normal spell with the effect where you discard one card to send cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards your opponent controls to the graveyard, then draw a card.
I give up.
If the card you draw is another Slash Draw, you send it to the grave and then destroy as many cards on the field as you can. For each card destroyed in this way, deal 2,000 damage to your opponent. If it wasn't Slash Draw, then you shuffle a number of cards from your graveyard back into your deck equal to the number of cards you've milled this way, and this can only be activated once per turn. Slash Draw is featured in one of the most convoluted FTKs ever created. All you have to do is successfully resolve Slash Draw while there are 4 or more cards on the field, including cards on your side of the field for the record, in order to deal 8,000 damage to your opponent. Of course, that requires that you happen to draw into another copy of Slash Draw at the perfect time, which is difficult to set up. This was made possible thanks to everyone's favorite Table 500 staple, Saryuja Skulldread. Skulldread is a powerful monster that gains effects based on the number of monsters used for its Link Summon. The important benchmarks are 3 and 4 monsters. 3 allows you to special summon any monster from your hand once per turn. 4 lets you draw 4 cards from your deck, then put 3 of those cards on the bottom of your deck.
This is really annoying.
As long as you don't then shuffle your deck further, this allows you to stack the few bottom cards in your deck. So, if you have a Slash Draw in your hand, you can then use Saryuja to place it at the bottom of your deck, allowing you to know exactly where a Slash Draw is in your deck. That allows you to perfectly set up a Slash Draw to top deck and do another Slash Draw for your FTK. Of course, in order for this to work, you're going to have to get rid of most of your deck first, and in order to do this, you have to play a deep draw engine, usually using cards such as the Dangers to draw cards while putting bodies on the field to either make Saryuja, or to destroy later with Slash Draw. This FTK was annoying enough for Slash Draw to get limited in the TCG, but it hasn't been hit at all in Genesis. This is due to the lack of specifically Saryuja Skulldread in the format, as there really aren't many good ways to put Slash Draw in specific places in your deck outside of that one monster. You can do it with Top Share, though, so it's not impossible. The easiest way to perform this FTK in Genesis would be to play a ton of danger monsters and cards like Upstart to draw into both Slash Draw and a Top Share, and if you have at least 4 random monsters on the field, you can Slash Draw your opponent for 8,000 damage. This is not a particularly consistent FTK, and it also just doesn't work going second, as if your opponent controls any cards, the Slash Draw will mill the Slash Draw and Top Share on your deck. Still, this is maybe the only FTK still even possible in the Genesis format, which is notable enough to get a spot on its own. And at number 7, we have Divine Wind of Mist Valley. This is a field spell with the effect where, once per turn, if a wind monster you control is returned to the hand, except near the damage step, you can special summon a level 4 or lower wind monster from your deck. This is a very powerful generic wind support card. As throughout the years, a ton of wind decks have relied on bouncing their monsters to their hand as part of their effects. Cards like the Yosenjus and Harpy Dancer return a wind monster from your field to your hand as just part of their normal effects. As a result, Divine Wind of the Mist Valley is essentially just a reusable emergency teleport for any level 4 or lower wind attribute monster, which is a huge pool of cards. This gives you both a ton of consistency and a ton of card advantage over the course of many turns. The thing that's most worrying about Divine Wind is the fact that its effect is a soft once per turn, meaning that if you have multiple copies in your hand, you can use its effect multiple times. This is made way more broken by the copious amount of field spell support cards that have been printed over the years. Terraforming and the like can allow you to use multiple Divine Winds in one turn, letting you swarm the board and get a ton of materials for Synchro, XCs, and Wind monsters. Worst of all are the loops that can be performed, as this actually will allow for FTKs in the right circumstances. One card you can search is Gen X Blastman, which adds a Dark Gen X monster from your deck to your hand. This will add Gen X Birdman, which can return a monster on your field to your hand to special summon itself from your hand, but banishes itself and leaves the field. Using this on Blastman would trigger Divine Wind, letting you summon another Blastman from your deck to grab another Birdman. You used to be able to secretly offer a copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon to destroy the field spell, and then find another copy of Divine Wind, but you can work around this now with instead grabbing a pseudo space to at least copy Divine Wind's effect. Back in the day, you could then repeat this loop to get all 3 copies of Ancient Fairy Dragon on your field, using its effect to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your hand on a soft once per turn. With careful use of your AFDs, you could flood the board with tokens with Black Garden and get any number of fusion summons with Fusion Gate. You can use one of our Divine Wind searches to find Elemental Hero Stratos to search Elemental Hero Heat, and use 2 of your AFDs as materials for number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk to flood your board with tokens. This sets us up to summon the card Blaze Phoenix, the Burning Bombardment Bird. This card requires a machine and a pyro type monster to summon, which can be fulfilled with Elemental Hero Heat and a token from Tomahawk, and future copies can be used as pyro for materials. It has the effect where, once per turn, you can deal 300 damage to your opponent for each card on the field. Thanks to us flooding the board with tokens from Black Garden and Tomahawk, the first time we activate this effect, it will deal 3,600 damage to your opponent. Go through all 3 copies of Fusion Gate, and that's over 9,000 points of damage. Now, this FTK is not possible in Genesis thanks to Blaze Wings costing 70 points, while Black Garden is now at 51. Not to mention, this exact version already stopped being available thanks to Ancient Fairy Dragon's recent errata. As a result of these changes and the real problem card, Blaze Phoenix, being pointed, Divine Wind was allowed into Genesis with no points associated with it. For now, Divine Wind of Mist Valley simply lies in wait, wondering if one day another silly combo will be found to abuse it. And at number 6, we have Dark Grapher. This is a level 4 Dark Warrior with 1700
We're just
attack
gonna
and
pretend
1600
this Royal
defense. It is the
Claymore
effect
is
where you can special summon it by discarding a level 5
the
or
Royal
higher Dark
Ancient
monster
one.
from your hand. Also, once per turn, you can discard a Dark Monster to send a Dark Monster from your deck to the graveyard. Dark Grapher is a classic Dark Monster support card, having been printed around the start of the Synchro era. As such, it's had a long time to see play, and the card has always found something to do, from helping Dark Arm Dragon take over the format, to letting Orcus start up its combos without even committing to a normal summon. Anytime a Dark-focused deck was in the metagame, you could bet that Dark Grapher was considered for play. The card was such a powerful combo piece for so long, that eventually Konami decided it was simply too powerful. It and Armageddon Knight found themselves on the Forbidden Elite list, as any free foolish burial effect was considered too powerful for a deck to have multiple copies. However, the game has gotten a lot more powerful over the years. Armageddon Knight has been freed from every banned list except for Master Duels, and Dark Grapher has been freed from every list except for the
Oh,
TCG.
gosh darn it.
It's not that these cards are no longer good, they're generally still powerful, but they're not as problematic as they used to be. Yes, by sending the right card in the right deck, you can kickstart an entire combo. But singular cards that can align a combo aren't a rarity in the modern day anymore. The card is also weaker to all of the same hand traps as traditional starters are, as a single Infinite Impermanence or Ash Blossom can counter Dark Grapher with ease. Still, Grapher is a way to extend your combo that doesn't require a normal summon. And in the right decks, it's a completely functional extender if you need more ways to play through Interruption. Grapher is one of these cards that probably could come off the ban list without breaking anything. It just hasn't, since no one's clamoring for it to come back at the moment. This explains pretty easily why the card